Welcome to the Extremis podcast. I'm Jackson, and I'm joined by the indomitable, the man who buys quadruple strength squash like a motherfucker, the one and only Mark. How you doing, mate?
Wow, what a mighty intro. If I was a Chaos Lord, that would definitely be in my titles, wouldn't it?
What, that you buy quadruple strength squash?
Drinker of quadruple strength squash.
Mate, that's fucking hardcore.
That's a powerful intro. Thanks, man. It's good to be here, like doing a podcast. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So for those new to us, me and young Mark here are the Extremis podcast. We cover 40k, AOS and Warhammer Fantasy, discussing our opinions and experiences, but we don't tie anything up. We cut straight through the fucking mustard. I'm sorry. And most of all, though, we just like talking about stuff that gets us stoked, and we hope it gets you stoked too. So we used to be called Sanction Extremis. We did that for a couple of years as a podcast, and we sort of worked out the format we like best, and we thought, it's time for a fresh start now. So we did that by removing one entire fucking word from the beginning of the title. And here we are. So without further ado, I think we should get into this month's episode where we're going to be talking about some explosive reveals and some fucking personal highlights from the hobby this month. So I think, mate, my biggest highlight recently was unexpected because I didn't have very high hopes for it. But I'm going to do my one first and then we'll move on to you. But mine was the Adepticon reveals. So we're going to do this, Mark, as a quick fire round. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the reveal and you give me a snappy and soundbite worthy response. Deal?
Right. Okay. I'm up for it.
Try. You're going to try. Okay, ash wastes.
I love the Bugulons. They're so good.
Bugulons.
Yeah, and the Bugulons. Made the skittery dudes. The ash waste nomads look awesome. They look proper Mad Maxy and kind of like Junie. I love the other gang. Is it Orlok?
Yeah, it's the Orlok gang.
And their buggies. I thought the only thing that I was not sure about was like the amount of terrain that was in the set. It felt like it was like, yes. I love the terrain that was in it, but I feel like a few more barricades kicking about. But I mean, they sell those for 40k anyway, so that's the only thing I think you would need to add. But
because I think they give you the like stock Necromunda barricades and objectives set with it, but I mean they're very minimal like barricades. They're just like doors that have been turned over on their side.
Right, I got you. Well, my snap reaction is I love it, and am I going to play it? I want to buy it. Probably, maybe. Definitely play.
Probably, maybe.
Definitely, maybe play. But am I going to buy it? No.
Well, for example, if I was to purchase it, which would you be going with? Orlok or the Nomads? Nomads. Oh, fair. Yeah, because I like them both. I think I prefer the Nomads because they're new. Like I know the Orlok models are new, but Orlok already a gang, so the Nomads are a bit more interesting to me.
Yeah, but I've got a Cawdor gang. Oh, no, I'm going to buy in, and because what I've got to say is very important. I've got that Cawdor gang that you got for me. I mean, it would be really cool to see those scummy boys face up against the desert boys.
It really would. I think there's a big scope for stuff there, and I noticed the rulebook that comes with it is actually like a hardback one. It looks fairly big, because usually when Necromunda do a like box set, the rulebook you get with it isn't the full rulebook, and it just covers the gangs that come with the set. So hopefully Ash Wastes is going to have more. And hopefully it's printed in a way that I can actually read and the text is legible. That'd be nice.
But as a minimum, I'd like to be able to read it.
Yeah, I think that box, not what I thought. I expected more vehicles and more terrain, but that terrain is interesting. I do like it because it is very different, but it looks like it's going to fall over fucking easily. I think, to me, those, they're not fucking tents because they're made out of metal, but those Caddyshacs? What the fuck are they?
I know what you mean.
Those huts, let's call them huts. Why aren't they on acrylic bases? They just look like they're going to fall over. They look mega top heavy. So,
you want to get like a nice big MDF base for that, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they're going to release more terrain to go with it. But I just think considering other sets they've done for Necromunda where you've got fucking shitloads of terrain, just having those 3 big pieces and then the ramps connecting them, it seems a bit minimal to me. But then you are out in the wastes, aren't you? You're not in the city, so
that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, it does. Yeah, what's the balance here? Is it meant to be kind of like terrain light? Are you like, if you're not on a building, are you constantly in cover? Maybe that's a rule. I don't know.
I mean, that said, like I'll move on to the next one, but I fucking love the vibe of it. The nomads, to me, they're like equal parts like Skitari and Digger from fucking Gorka Morka.
Oh, so I'm getting what a throwback.
Mate, I'm getting major Gorka Morka vibes from it, but there's no card terrain. So that, you know, if they put some card terrain in there, I'll be even more stoked.
Yeah.
But next one, Mark. Horus Heresy trailer.
I fucking loved it. It was great.
Mate, it fucking really was, wasn't it? Like that, Games Workshop, if you're ever listening, that is the production value that I want from fucking Warhammer TV. Like, I don't care how much it costs. You've got loads of money. That's what I want to see. Like, fucking, like, super high-end shit. It was fucking brutal. And I really loved, there was one bit in it where there's a couple of Titans and they're walking and they got, like, the sun setting behind them. And I got, like, total, like, Star Wars vibes from it. And I thought that's exactly the kind of grandiose... oh, fuck, hang on, I used a big word, now I got lost. Grandiose scale, there we go. That's the kind of thing that it needs, because it is like a fucking space opera. It's huge. Like, that's the kind of shit I want to see. And the beakies. I'm so glad they showed us that model. But although I do like it, and I do like that they've gone, you know what, fuck scale, let's just make it a bigger fucking marine than usual just because we can. Yeah. You know, why not, Games Workshop? Treat yourself. I don't understand for the life of me why his gun has got a fucking leather strap around it. There is no way. I know I'm really fucking like picking at this, but that strap, he couldn't put that over his pauldron. He couldn't carry anything with it. Like, mate, what are you doing? I just don't understand. It looks cool though, so that's probably why they've done it, isn't it?
I was going to say, controversial decision. Hot take from me. I like straps. Shall I tell you my thoughts when I saw this trailer?
Mate, please do. That's why we're here.
I thought, do you know what? I might just sell all my 40k stuff and just play this instead.
All your 40k stuff?
All of it. Even the stuff I could use in Horus Heresy. Mainly because, like, it would be a contained rule set in terms of it's not mainstream, as in, like, it's not 40k or Age of Sigmar. So the release would be kind of... The releases, would be staggered a bit more. I know I said we don't really pay much attention to like the release schedule and we play whatever the fuck we like. But I don't know, I kind of like the idea of it being a contained game. A bit like getting into Warhammer Fantasy 6th, knowing there's kind of like an end point and it's like within a certain time frame. There's something that appealed to me about it. But yeah, I thought it was cool.
Mark, next reveal, Chaos Knights.
I mean, well, it's also... Normal Knights and Chaos Knight release, isn't it, really? Announcing that both the codexes came out. But no one gives a shit about Normal Knights because they've got nothing cool. And the new Chaos Knight is even fucking more badass than the other ones. He's got great big fucking, like, Terminator horns. And he's got birdie boys as friends. So... and he's got a big, like, whippy tentacle. Mate, he's got a fucking Volkite Mega Destructor. Oh, that's not what it's called, but that's probably what it's called.
Yeah, but that sounded convincing.
Sounded convincing enough, didn't it? I mean, count me in.
I love the fucking tendrils or whatever they are on the Knight Abominant. Like, I can just imagine the fucking wounds and destruction they would leave behind would be, you know, pretty horrendous. I like that. Yeah. And I really like that they've given him like the fully cantilevered legs like the armigers have. Well, sorry, war dogs or whatever they're called now. Because usually the knights, the way they're posed, their fucking legs are fairly straight. And on that one, they've got that whole kind of weird, I don't want to say goat, but I'm sure it's cantilevered. That's the way I'd describe it.
It's like animal legs, isn't it, basically?
Yeah. And it's like, it's not just superficially that Chaos is corrupting. It's like fucking up the hydraulics and like the fucking skeleton of it and everything. I'm just really into that. But that leads me nicely onto... And I don't have an opinion on this. I dropped this in here purely because I'm talking to you, who plays several Chaos armies. New Chaos Codex.
I did like a little joke that they were saying that finally they're getting 2 wounds in the trailer for it. because it has been a bit of a sore point. Like, I haven't got my Black Legion out of their case since everyone else has had 2 wounds except them. I'm fucking stoked for it. I think we're going to see some really cool stuff. I think we're going to get some possessed guys. We're going to get some new cultists. Am I going to get it all? Probably not, because I've got fuckloads of chaos stuff anyway. But I said that about the is it Eldritch Omens, the recent Chaos versus Eldar?
Probably, it is.
It's something like that. And I said I wasn't going to get that, but as soon as I saw The Chosen, I was like fucking on eBay straight away trying to see people like part selling it. So my willpower will fucking break like a twig as soon as I see all the cool shit.
Right, next one. Ulrak the Drowner.
Oh, mate, the boatman.
Yeah, it's the fucking boatman.
Mate, I fucking loved it. Yeah, he's fucking rowing about. He's all like trapped in a cage. He's got half a boat. People are like, spirits are trying to get onto his boat and shit. He used to drown people in his past life, so he has to drown people forever. I mean, what's not to like?
I don't get when people say like Nagash has got like a really twisted sense of humour and he'll like look at what people's lives were like and then give them a suitable punishment in death. I'm like, this guy, he used to like drowning people and now his job's drowning people. You know, he's fucking lucked out as far as I'm concerned.
If anything, I wouldn't say Nagash was creative. I'd just say or a sense of humour. I'd just say he's really got no ideas. He's like, oh, what shall I make you do? You used to drown people. You can be my drown man.
Yeah, he's nice like really fucking dull.
Yeah.
And lastly, Mark, do you have, because I'm skipping over Harrow Deep completely because we don't fucking play any of the Underworld stuff.
Can I just say one thing about those miniatures for Harrow Deep?
Oh, go on then, mate.
They're fucking boring. Oh my God. I literally they were like, oh man, this guy who's like this servant of Nagash, and he was so out there with his necromancy that even Nagash sent him out banished him from Shaiish. But he's just got kind of like electric zombies. Like, I don't really get why he's so like out there. They had the zombie with the fucking like big hand. Great, cool, fucking boring. Move on. Next question.
Ooh. Right, sorry, I'm just trying to calm down. Thondia, Season of War. That's my last thing. Have you got an opinion on that?
Super medium. I was like, okay, cool, a twisty elemental thing and some scenery. Next is my opinion on that.
I mean, I already wasted money on campaign books for 40k that are now irrelevant. So, you know, I mean, to be fair, like it's cool, but I'm sure fucking Doug from 2 Plus Tough is going to cover most of the lore. I just listened to that.
I really struggle with the AOS lore. I just can't really get my teeth into it.
Because it's not Warhammer Fantasy. It's missing that je ne sais quoi in it. It doesn't have the grit. Although saying that,
I have been good.
Fucking hell. I have been getting into that new Stormcast battle tome. I'm actually really enjoying that. But that is beyond the scope of this section that was to talk about fucking Adepticon reveals. But I mean, overall, I'd say that was some pretty good stuff. A little bit meh on a couple of things. But yeah, the 40k shit, Necromunda, and the fucking Horus Heresy stuff is like banging. I'm just a bit gutted that they still haven't actually shown us the Horus Heresy box. Give me more than a trailer, you know?
Yeah.
But then I suppose before that I didn't even have the trailer. So I've rambled now, Mark. What about you, mate? What sort of perked your interest in the realms of Warhammer recently?
Well, I'm going to start out strong with a biggie, and that is Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh, fucking hell.
And it's something that we've discussed because you said a couple of times, like, should I get it? And I've got a couple of thoughts because I've played quite a lot of it since its release. My verdict to you is don't buy it. But not because it's bad. As a diehard fan of the series, it feels like it's missing everything. Now, do you remember that time you came over here and I showed you like Total War Warhammer 2? I gave you sort of a lowdown on how to play it. And I showed you all like the legendary lords and all the different campaigns I'd had downloaded and stuff.
Yep.
At the moment, I don't have any of that in Total War Warhammer 3. You literally have got the factions that are in the base game and the one campaign. There's no sandbox mode, which for me is the thing I really love about Total War Warhammer, is that you can come back after a day at work and you can like play a few turns and building your empire. You could be playing this campaign for weeks and weeks and weeks, but that's what I like about it. And there's no like time pressure as such. You can sort of build your empire, conquer the world in kind of like your own time. But eventually they will do what they did for Total War Warhammer 2 and give you all the stuff from the first game. So you'll be able to play everything eventually, but I feel at the moment that it feels a bit empty for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting you say that, because I've seen a couple of people say that they've dropped the ball with it, and there's been a few, not like direct comparisons, but you know how Dawn of War 3 was like the odd one out of the series? I've seen a few people kind of liken it to how Dawn of War 3 failed to meet up to expectations. But I mean, the only thing that I've sort of taken from you, other than this conversation that we're currently having, is that it's not massively well optimized, but that's kind of par for the course of PC games anyway, really.
Yeah, the actual like optimization issues, I've not really had any problems since day 1 or 2. And I would disagree about the Dawn of War 3 comparison. If there was no scope to change the game from what it is at the moment, I would say, yeah, it's nowhere near. I'd go back to playing Total Warhammer 2. And in fact, I did for a little bit, because I was like, I did the main campaign, the Realms of Chaos campaign. I completed it, and I was like, okay, I don't really feel like playing the exact same campaign again with a different faction straight away. So I jumped back into Total War Warhammer 2 and looked at the fucking 20 odd legendary lords and campaigns I could do, and felt like a bit more like I could jump back into one of those, and they were a bit more, I had more freedom of choice. Now, the reason it's not going to be like Dawn of War 3 is that this eventually they will put all those legendary lords into Total War Warhammer 3. They've already data mined what people are calling the Immortal Empires, where it's got the entire campaign map. So it's got the one from Total War Warhammer 1, it's got Total War Warhammer 2, and combined with the map from the third one. So you're going to have this absolutely epic sandbox map to play on. When that comes out, and then it will probably be the best Total War Warhammer game, because it had everything in it. And they're going to do more legendary lords for this and DLC. So eventually it's going to end up being really good. And it's also important to remember that when Total War Warhammer 2 came out, there was optimization issues. It felt really empty because there was not all the stuff from the first game. So in a year's time, I'll have the same conversation and I'll go, it's absolutely worth it, because it's all the best of the other 2 games combined. But at the moment, unless you're a diehard fan, I would avoid for now.
Yeah, but I mean, it has got into your highlight list for this month, mate. So what about it has made you be like, oh man, I'm so fucking into this game?
Well, the fact it's a new Total War Warhammer game, and there's races explored and background explored that we've never really touched on in the games. There's a brand new faction that we've never, only heard sort of snippets of in the lore. They've got Grand Cathay, which is fully fleshed out and very Warhammer, even though it's very sort of Eastern influenced. I think they've kind of got a nice mix of that and the sort of Warhammer feel. So the Cathayans are ruled by a class of dragons, basically, the elemental dragons, and they're all sort of related to the different elements, and they can transform. They're actually dragons, but they have 2 forms. They've got a human form and a dragon form, which you can go between in the games, which is quite cool. And they've got like what they call the Great Bastion, which is the Great Wall, effectively, that keeps out chaos and stuff. That's really cool. And you've got fucking like, you get terracotta sentinels, which is this like giant terracotta warrior with this fucking double-handed spear, who's like, the animation for it's so good. Cool. So yeah, that's my my main pick. Like, I've been really smashing out that. I mean, it's a good game, but I don't think it's at its full potential just yet. So if you're umming and ahhing, I would suggest waiting until you can play a sandbox mode. But if you're a huge fan of it like I am, pick it up. You'll enjoy it. It's a new game. Oh man, fucking Kislev are great. Oh shit, I fucking forgot about them. They have bears, and bears with sleds, and bears with cannons on. They're really fucking leaning into the bear vibe. And they have an awesome ability that when they're just about to break, a special ability kicks in called By Our Blood, and they become unbreakable for like 20 seconds. And I just thought that's just like very thematic. Like, but yeah, Kislev are fucking great. I mean, if you like bears, then fucking there you guys.
Nice one, man. Yeah, I'd forgotten about Kislev as well. I'll have to check it out. I think, yeah, I'll stick with your recommendation and I'll wait, because hopefully by the time they start releasing the DLC or whatever they're going to do, it'll probably be down in price a bit, and they'll probably do some kind of sale or something on Steam to like do a promotion for it. So I'll pick it up when it's a bit cheaper. But yeah, nice one, man. Thanks. My next highlight is the Gate of Bones. Oh, Andy Clark, you've done it again. Oh, fucking hell, man. So it's the second book in the Dawn of Fire series.
Oh, okay.
So last episode, I was chatting about Avenging Sun, which is the first book, but I smashed through that. And like, mate, this second one, I'm only about 15 chapters in, and goddamn, I'm loving it. So it's set on Gathalamor, which is an Imperial shrine world. You've got heretic Astartes and cultists trying to unearth some mega weapons and defending the planet. You've got Mordian Iron Guard. So that's already a little bit out there, because usually in these books they're like, we need guardsmen, our fucking Cadians will do. Like, no. You've got the Mordian fucking Iron Guard. You've got the Sisters of Battle. There's a night house called Kamadar. And en route to the planet, you got the Custodes and the Imperial Fists, but like Primaris Imperial Fists, not OG guys. So the cool thing about Gathalamor is it's basically one huge like catacomb built upon other huge sets of catacombs that are just filled with like the Imperial dead. So like your heroes and your saints and shit. And it is like oppressive, the amount of bones that are on this fucking planet, which is kind of handy when it's called the Gate of Bones. There's a really good line in the book that's quite evocative of this. So it says, the nameless dead of 1,000 years of imperial history are piled atop each other until their sarcophagi crack and their remains are crushed flat into an ugly strata of bone rock. Collapsed sections are dug through again and again, and fresh catacombs made. So the dead are nesting within the dead. So it's happened for so long that there's like full-on cathedrals and stuff underneath the catacombs. The place is like, it's always changing because there's always new dead people. I mean, it's the Imperium. there's no shortage of fucking dead guys. But also you've got like all the cave-ins and shit that are happening. So if you're going to go into the catacombs, I mean, you've got to be pretty lucky to find your way out if you don't know what you're doing. I'm not going to do like any big spoilers because I'm not that far into it, but there's another really cool bit that happens before Chaos really like get into it. On the planet, there's a transport hub. It's 40 square miles and it is covered with like a roof of stained glass that is just all the like saints and heroes of the Imperium painted on it. So when like the fucking Joe blogs and the everyday public, when they look up, they see all their protectors and stuff. It's like this really like amazing feat of architecture. So, of course, the Iron Warriors, they took one like that from fucking up in orbit and they just bombed the shit out of it because they thought it'd be really funny that people would see, like, people that they hold up in high esteem just get obliterated and fall down and cut them into bits. So, on Gathalamor, like, around this area, it's described as being a glass desert because the glass has just been pulverized. And if you go walking through it, like if you're a space marine, you'd probably be okay. But if you're a regular fucking human, you're going to get cut to ribbons. And there's a really cool bit where there's a Iron Warriors tank that's going through and it's like searching for people. And they notice that there is an Imperial tank that's been dug in to the glass. And the way they notice is because there's fresh blood everywhere. So they could tell the people have got out of the tank to try and like dig it into cover. But like in doing so, you're going to get really fucking injured. So I really like the idea that you've got this environment that is so harsh that, you know, if your tank runs out of fuel or if you've got to leave a building, you're basically going through the scene in Die Hard where he has to go through and cut his feet up, but like turn up to 11. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a fucking cool book. I mean, I'm not the whole way through it, so I can't really give it a rating as yet, but I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you re-rated the first one, didn't you? And sounds like the second one's just as good.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the last bit I'm going to mention that really got me was the Custodes in it. I mean, are you saying custodes these days? Are you saying Custodes?
I'd say Custodes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna keep with Custodes. So it's the first time that I've read Custodes, and really understood that they are fully a law unto themselves, and that includes Primarchs. Like, they see everyone else as below them because they only answer to the Emperor. And there's a couple of things that are said in it, and I thought, fucking hell, you can't say that. The landmark moment for me, there's this one scene where there's a, should we say, cynical member of the Custodes, and he's called Brother Colquan, and he says that he doesn't trust anything Guilliman says. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a bit heretical there. You know, where are you going with this, Mr. Colquan? And the quote from it that I've written down in my notes, because I'm that organised, he says, Guilliman is one of the Primarchs, the Emperor's gravest errors. And I'm like, them's fighting words, boy.
Shots
and he
fired.
says, I know. And he says, now he is at the head of legions he himself banned. He is the new war master of the Imperium in all but name. When there were 20, there was a balance built into their combined abilities and propensities. But alone, he is unchecked. So we must be the check. And I was like, fucking hell, gloves are off. You know, I didn't see it coming. But when you think about it, I think I mentioned in the last episode when we were talking about Avenging Sun, you get this idea that the amount of Primaris Marines like far fucking exceeds the limit for a chapter. And even though mostly that's probably been done by Cole and not Guilliman, I mean, Guilliman's got to have had a say in it, hasn't he? But I mean, like, you know, that's neither here nor there, really. So, Mark, what about you, mate? What's your fucking second highlight that you want to bring to the attention of the listeners of this podcast? Fucking hell.
My next focus, or my next highlight, is Orcs and Goblins. We played, I don't know if you remember, we played a game of Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition, Orcs and Goblins versus Skaven.
Oh, mate, fucking do I remember this?
It was a fucking hoot. I wanted to play Orcs and Goblins because I thought they're quite fun. And then we actually played it, and I thought, do you know what? I think in terms of play style wise, and in terms of playing 6th edition fantasy, it's probably one of my favourites to play, just because they're fucking wild, man. Like, I mean, if you want a really tight, competitive, or like, not competitive, that's the wrong word to say. If you want a really like, if you want a really controllable, effective army, then I would recommend not playing Orcs and Goblins. But if you fucking like your units at the key opportunity or the key moments in the battle to charge and they just erupt in a fight, if you like fucking your wizard getting overpowered from all the fighting going around them and they're having their heads explode, and if you like the idea of fanatics spinning around the battlefield, potentially and arguably doing more damage to your army than your opponents, then 100% there for you.
I fucking love that game because I remember you saying like, "Oh man, you've got that fanatic coming at you," and you explained to me how it worked. And you're like, so you're going to do anything? No, I'm fucking not. I'm going to let him crack on and see what he does. Good on him. And he did, didn't he? I think he like smashed into my Skaven, took a few out, and then he just started whirling around and done some of your guys in. You know, he was indiscriminate, that guy.
Yeah, no, I know, it's fucking great. And like, despite all those things happening that I said, I still won. Like, you know, when the boys got stuck in, they were fucking duffing up the big things, you know? Like, that chariot that I felt well bad because you'd found, like, these really cool vintage 6th ed and even 5th ed, like, plague sensor bearers. And you were like, yeah, man, I painted one. I got them all together. I'm really excited to use them. And I crashed my chariot into it. And I rolled for, like, impact hits. And it was like, I was like, oh, Jackson, that's 7 impact hits. I'm strength 5. Your toughness, I was like, please be high, please be high. And you're like, oh, it's 4. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to wound on 3. I rolled on my dice. I'm like, yeah, I think they're all dead.
yeah, they were, weren't they? That was my mistake because it was the way I deployed. Like, I didn't give them room to really do anything, did I? I don't know. I thought it would have been nice to see them do something other than move, but I mean that can come up in a later game.
No, yeah, it wasn't so much that. I think it's more that they were probably lined up against. I mean, it's no fault of your own because we're both of us relearning. You know, well, I'm relearning it and you're learning the game and trying to work out what goes well against what. I just don't think they are super kind of up for taking chariot charges and cavalry charges. They're more for like ploughing into infantry and doing lots of damage. So it probably was just like, I think the learning point from that is maybe don't send plague monks against chariots. But no, yeah, and like by the end of the game, like we had our piles of dead were massive. Like your Skaven magic, especially right at the end, was going like wild, and you're fucking zapping everything around you. And you, and one of my other favourite moments was when you had the rattling gun.
Oh man, I want this to be known. When I play Skaven, I am committed to playing fluffy. Like every fucking time with the rattling gun, Mark's like, "Man, you've rolled pretty good there, mate. You might want to stop." Like, no, fucking keep going.
No, and
every time it backfired.
For those of you who don't know how the rattling gun works in 6th ed, and I'm not sure if it's the same in the other editions or not, but you roll a d6 for the number of shots. And then that's the number of shots you get, but you can keep rolling to represent them, continuing to fire. And everything is fine unless you rolled a double. And if you roll double 1 or double 2, then it's not bad. If you roll double 3 or double 4, it could be bad. But double 5 or double 6 it fucking blows up. And Jackson shot his rattling gun 3 times in the game. The first time, I said to him, he rolled well. His first 2 dice were like fine. I said, you might want to stop there because that's plenty of shots. You're like, no, I'm going to keep going. And you rolled another dice and it jammed on the double 1, double 2. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe he'll learn from this. Fires again.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot. It got progressively worse, didn't it?
Yeah. And then you got like a double 3 or double 4 or something. And it like spun around in a random direction and like fired off at a random direction. And I was like, oh, I don't think I think maybe I've not explained the rule properly. But no, I think you fully understood what was going on.
Yeah.
And then the last time, I think you rolled quite a few dice until you finally got a double 5 or double 6, and it fucking just exploded.
Well, they wouldn't stop, would they? That's the thing in my head. Like, if it's going well, they're going to be so happy they're just going to keep cranking the fucking handle. You know, they're not going to be cautious.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, it was a great game, and it made me really excited about Orcs and Goblins. Not only in fantasy, but also in like AOS or even 40k, because you've got some Orc stuff kicking about. And I started painting them. I got kind of really inspired. So yeah, I've been really enjoying my Orcs and Goblins, and yeah, I love it.
Oh, you love a good crumping, don't you?
I do love crumping Skaven. It's good fun.
And the last fucking highlight, which is kind of a twofer between me and you, has been, I believe, Curse City, because we finally got some more Curse City going with me, you, and our mate Steve. And I know that you've put this quite high up on your list because you're more invested in it than me because you're painting the fucking thing because it's your set. But when I knew that I was going to go on a mission to fucking kill a Varg skier, I was really happy. And getting to play through that with you guys was really fun. But I mean, what exactly about it has been the big highlight for you?
That's a really good question. Now, obviously, it's been out for a little while. Well, I say out. It was released quite a while ago, and then we've had nothing until very recently when they re-announced it was going to come back out. So, and as you said, we finally got to the first decapitation mission where you fight one of the bosses. And it felt like a good opportunity to start talking about it again, because talking about it before felt a bit of a low blow because other people hadn't had the chance to get it.
Yeah, definitely.
And now it's back on the market again, potentially. I think it feels a bit more appropriate to talk about it. So the thing I really, really like about Curse City is I felt like I got a lot of value for money. Now, we've played up to level 1 with our characters. We've done 4 or 5 missions, including the decapitation, and we've done that over the space of a year. And the fact that we've still got all the main bosses to battle through, we've still got to do all the other missions and level up. I mean, we could be playing this for years. Now, admittedly, if you had a gaming group that met every week, even then, it would take you quite a while to get through all the stuff. And I think it might be a bit of a grind if you did it like all close together, but spacing it out, it feels like we could be enjoying this box set for years, which which is great. I'm happy to do that, and taking our characters, over the months and years, and getting used to them and playing them, and just get really invested in the setting. And I mean, the vibe's so good. I think they really nailed it, like especially for an AOS setting. It's really grim dark. It doesn't feel like AOS to me. It feels more Warhammer Fantasy, which I think I really dig.
I get what you mean. I think for me, it's been nice to have that to look forward to, and especially recently for escapism, I'm finding it really hard to have 40k as escapism at the moment, because like guns and explosions and shit is a little bit too close to home. So
yeah,
I mean, give me some like gothic horror and some muddy boots and shit any day, mate. I'm always into that. I mean, so much so that with like Warhammer Fantasy roleplay. So,
oh fuck yeah, I mean, that's coming up. We're doing some Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, and sort of inspired by Curse City. It's cut from the same cloth.
I'm just super into all of it, really. And I mean, they do branded roll-up dice trays for Warhammer Fantasy battles. I mean, and you can get like more than one design. So, oh god, there's more money I got to spend. Fucking hell. I think literally the only thing with Curse City, and this isn't really a dig, because like it's not a game that you're meant to play as relentless as some people probably could be with it. Like we've spaced it out quite a bit, haven't we? And it's been good.
Yeah.
But one thing I think needs improving, which they can't improve because it's a standalone fucking product, but I think there's a bit of a lack of abilities and attacks. So for those who haven't played Curse City yet, one of the game mechanics is when you do certain things and kill certain enemies, you can get inspiration points. When you get enough of those, your card with all your abilities on it gets flipped over, and then those abilities are like amped up a bit, essentially. I think it would be cool if there was some additional attacks when you flip the card over, because pretty much you get like 1 or 2 attacks, and there's only so many times where Octrin can hollow stare at an enemy. You know, it's just the same thing over and over again, and it gets a little bit samey. There's not so much combat in it that you really notice. I just think that kind of takes something out of it a little bit. Like when you're only doing the exact same thing against an enemy every time, and like your attack that kills a zombie is also the attack that can kill the fucking Varg skier or whatever the boss is that you're fighting. Sorry, I hate to be negative, but I don't know if you've picked up on that. I just found, given the scope of the game, and that originally there was going to be expansions, and if we're still getting them, I doubt it. But I don't know, I just feel like when you flip the card, don't just +1 to the stuff that's there. Like, give me some new shit, you know? Or am I just ranting, Mark?
No. I think it's a valid point, and you're right. There are a limited number of attacks, and yes, you can buy upgrades and this, that, and the other that change certain things, but fundamentally your card doesn't change. Your core stats don't really change. And yeah, they have said that there are going to be expansions, so maybe those will change. And the sort of counter argument to getting bored with the character is there's 8 characters to play, so you can always just switch them up and play something different. Obviously, if you're going up that kind of experience route and the leveling up, you kind of have to play the same character to get them to a certain level. But no, I think it's a perfectly valid point. I had a similar sort of, not complaint, but kind of my main gripe at the moment is that the enemies don't feel super deadly. Apart from when we played against the Varg skier, things got a bit hairy. But, I mean, we weren't close to a total...
Mate, sorry. You say a bit hairy. Mate, Cleona's fucking dead.
Well, no, she didn't die though. We rolled the dice, and you only die on a 1 after the game. But
mate,
I mean, canonic, like in my head, she's not dead, but she's on fucking life support. she got absolutely fucked over, man. Like, I mean, yeah, she died in that she was, you know, she was taken out of action by the Varg.
We did sort of give up helping her. I mean, I think that could have maybe made a difference, but it was pretty much, it was a toss-up between helping a character and killing the fucking Varg skier, wasn't it? Because there was only so many fucking Destiny dice that we had for rerolls. But the way we're playing this game, there's 3 of us, and we're using 4 characters. So Cleona's not been a main character. She's been sort of helmed by Mark, but Mark's main dude has been the fucking vampire hunter, witch hunter guy. So
yeah, fluff-wise in my head, she's mortally wounded and she's out of action for the foreseeable future, and we're going to get some new characters in. But no, yeah, if you get the opportunity to play it, I would wholeheartedly recommend it. It's definitely worth the money. And it's got lots of longevity, lots of replayability. It's got a bit of role play. It's got awesome flavour, lovely models. I mean, I would definitely give it a very high rating.
Right, Mark, before we wrap this episode up, social media, if anyone wants to fucking send me shit, I'm at Jackson Extremis on Twitter, and Mark is at Van_Von_Volkvan, lots of V's, so I mean you'll find him on there somewhere. And I haven't changed any of it yet. We're still Sanction Extremist Podcast on Facebook and fucking Instagram. And I mean, that's about it really for the socials, I think. I'll tell you what, mate. Have you done the Which Chapter Are You quiz, the Horus Heresy quiz?
No.
Mate, we're fucking doing this. Yes, we fucking can. Hang on.
Oh, mate.
Because I've got this. The only thing is people are going to hear the mouse clicking. But
doesn't matter. This is peak content.
It really fucking is, isn't it? So,
yeah. Sorry, go for it.
So I've done this, and I came out as Space Wolves, which kind of surprised me. I didn't think I'd get something cool like Imperial Fists, but I didn't expect Space Wolves. So I'll be really interested to see what you get. Now, at the moment, I'm trying to do this on Safari, and it don't like it. So I'm going to try it in Firefox. Mate, I love it when it says, "Do you want to accept cookies?" like I'd say no to you, Games Workshop. Right. Okay, Mark, are you ready, sir?
Hit me.
Okay, because this is going to define you as a person and how the internet and the podcast verse sees you. So, I mean, I need to know you're ready for this.
I was born ready.
Okay, and I'm also warning you that I have noticed when you go through this, you can potentially get stuck in a loop because the way they've done it, Classic Games Workshop, hasn't been checked enough. And there's one of the answers that can lead to an answer where it will just keep asking you the same two things over and over again until you change, which is really, really annoying because it wants to guide you a certain way, I think. Without further ado, we will see where Mark's loyalties lie. So, Mark, Horus, the War Master, has communed with dark powers and torn the Imperium asunder. How do you view his actions? So you've got two choices on this. Disloyalty is unforgivable, or humanity must be freed of ignorance.
Humanity must be freed of ignorance.
Oh, and I didn't tell you, there was two thumbnails there. One of them was Dawn, and the other's Horus. And you can guess which one you just picked. Right. Scans of the battlefield have detected enemy troop movement in an unexpected quarter. How do you respond? So you've got two options here, man. You can scramble the infantry or call in armoured support.
I mean, tanks are cool, so I'm going to go call in armoured support.
It seems your enemy has left a vital position vulnerable to counterattack. How do you go about destroying it? There's three options on this one. So, do you launch covert operations to sever their supply lines and sow discord and confusion? Do you advance slow and steady? Discipline and training will win the day. Or, actually, it would be better to scramble rapid response and infantry units for a raid.
Let's go for disciplined ranks. Because nothing says 40k like walking towards your enemy who have guns.
I know. Reinforcements have arrived. What weapon do they carry? Plasma calibers or Volkite culverins?
Plasma. The first one.
Plasma calibers.
That's it.
You're fighting an army that's well equipped and committed to its cause. How do you take them on? Stand strong, use willpower and weight of fire to break their resolve and burn them out of their bunkers. Or use your elite units to claim key strategic positions, trusting them to give you the advantage.
I'm going to go for the elite guys. The elite option.
What do you want covering your advance? You can have a siphon. Oh, fuck, how do you say that? Xiphon. It's either Xiphon or siphon, but
I'd say Xiphon.
Fucking hell, Games Workshop. Where you can have that word interceptor, so some kind of plane-looking fucker, or you can have a Sikaran Omega tank destroyer.
Mate, I want a mega tank man.
Ultra Deluxe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I think we're getting near the end now, right? this is a bit of a telling question. Would you rather exemplify everything a space marine should aspire to, faithfully following the strictures of a noble code, or fuel your skill at arms with unfettered ambition and show everyone what you are capable of once free of your chains?
Knowing what I answered for the first question, I'm going to go for option A, I think, for this one.
Oh, what, you're going to exemplify stuff?
Exemplify what a space marine should be. We've
assigned you to the Ultramarines.
Hey! I'm going to have to sell
Ultra vanilla.
Oh, that kind of sums me up, really. I mean, I do have Ultramarines, so I don't have to burn any of my models, which is good.
The only question in this whole thing that kind of skewed me was when I was doing it, I think when it says, what do you want covering your advance? You can either have the Interceptor or the Tank Destroyer. Now, I'm with you on this, especially when you look at the Tank Destroyer, because the gun on it is like a fucking chunkus. But really, how useful is a Tank Destroyer if you're running up against infantry?
Yeah.
Surely having a aircraft that can just like do a fucking massive strafe run or drop bombs or whatever is better, but I'd feel more comfortable walking behind the Tank Destroyer, definitely. But yeah, so there's some peak content for everyone. Fucking hell.
Well, while we're on the peak content train, you surprised
where's
me.
This going?
You surprised me with the Space Marine the Space Marine Legion selector. As I was waiting for you to log on, I did type up some questions for a little mini quiz. We're going to go back. We were going back into Warhammer Fantasy. We're going to do a bit of fantasy roleplay. So I think you need to fucking smarten up and get your lore on. So,
mate, don't expose me in front of the internet for not knowing what I'm fucking talking about.
Well, I've picked what I think are relatively easy questions. They're questions like you've done a few of the Gotrek and Felix books. You have got some of the army books. I lent you the 5th edition Battles book, which you should have fucking read and studied and understood. So these questions should be fairly straightforward.
What do I win?
If you get them all right, you earn my respect.
So this is like saying to a band, we'll give you exposure.
Yeah, but worse.
All right, lay it on me, man.
Okay. So this is all Warhammer Fantasy questions. I might surprise you every week with a new set of questions on a random Warhammer subject.
Oh, mate, fuck off.
I think it'd be quite fun.
As long as you don't do fucking stats questions, though. Don't say to me, what's the fucking toughness of this unit?
There'll be lore or kind of product questions. They won't be like stat questions or anything. So,
all right, man, bring it on.
There's 3 questions. The first question is, who is the current emperor of the Empire?
Karl Franz?
Correct. Well done. I would also have accepted Emperor Karl Franz I, heir of Sigmar. But your answer is fine.
Yeah, don't expect too much, Mark. Fucking hell.
Okay, well, that was an easy one, wasn't it? Okay, I told you they're not too bad. Now, question 2. What is the name of the capital of the Skaven Empire?
Skavenblight?
Correct. Well done.
Hell. Mate,
okay.
2 out of 3. Right, it's all to play for, Mark. Come on.
Yeah. You're on, you're more than 50%. You're doing good.
You're going to fucking stump me with this next one, aren't you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, this question, the answer to this question, because I know you do, because it's in a book you've read, but I don't know if I'm going to bamboozle you with the kind of the rest of the question in terms of like what I've put in. Anyway.
Oh, mate, go for it. Go on.
Which Kislev city was destroyed by the forces of Asavar Kul during the Great War against Chaos? And I can give you a clue.
Prague?
Do you want the clue first?
No, I'm going with Prague.
Okay.
That's a wrong answer.
I'm going to read you the clue. I'll read you the clue and I'll give you a chance to reconsider. The clue is the invasion of the Great War against Chaos was defeated by Magnus the Pious, and the city was later resettled but was constantly plagued with evil. You sticking with your answer?
Mate, I'm sticking with Prague.
100% correct. Well done. 3 out of 3.
Mate, you were going to fucking make me change it to something then, weren't you cheeky bastard? Because I was going to be like, fucking hell, what other cities is there like bad shit happening in?
All I was doing, Jackson, was giving you more information to help you make a better choice.
But I already made a good choice.
And do you know...
You made me second guess myself.
No. For, like, extra brownie points, do you know the name of the Chaos Lord that was left by Asavar Kul to sack Prague while he went off? Do you know the name of him? Well, I'll put it this way. I wouldn't know unless I had the army book open right in front of me.
Big Red Fist Man?
Close. It's Engra Deathsword.
That wasn't close at all.
No, it wasn't. It's the guy that's on the front cover of the army book, and he's got he's the amazing Chaos Warrior artwork. He's
I know the one you mean.
The hench guy. That's Engra Deathsword, Destroyer of Prague. Anyway,
well,
but
good
no,
on him.
I'm super stoked. You managed to get all those correct.
Oh mate, it was a big relief for me, I got to tell you, especially being like live on a podcast that's then recorded and I could potentially edit later and no one would know.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad they went. Mate, make them more difficult next time.
I hope next time you look forward to them with a mixture of excitement and dread.
Thank you. Thanks. That's going to do wonders for my anxiety. Another thing to worry about.
Do you want... okay, so I can prep. Do you want more Warhammer Fantasy questions, or shall I make it 40k next time?
No, fantasy. Do fantasy.
Fantasy again?
Because I don't know enough about fantasy. Yeah.
Okay, so how you're going to learn is I'm going to ask you really obscure questions about it.
Yeah, and you go wrong. Oh, fucking hell.
Cool.
So, Mark, have you got anything you want to say to the lovely people listening to this podcast before we wrap this motherfucker up?
No, other than thanks for listening, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
See ya.